Today on To The Point, we have 50% of Team Whitney. Wait till you guys see who's here.
Welcome to Popcorn Talk, featuring movie discussion, news, and interviews. Popcorn Talk. We talk movies.
Welcome you guys on in To The Point with Kristian. I have to say, I'm a total fangirl of today's guest, and I was really excited when we booked her. She is one of the kid pros on Dancing with the Stars Juniors, and guess who's here? It's Kamri Peterson.
Hey!
How are you?
I'm so great.
Oh, I'm so excited you're here.
I'm so excited I'm here.
This is amazing that it worked out too. This all started, because Vlad was on the show. You slid into my DMs and said, please say hi to Vlad.
Yes.
And I said, I will. And we did a little talk. And then I said, you know what? Just come on the show. And it turned out you were in town and I had an open date. And here we are. Amazing.
Yeah.
Well, this is good. And you don't know this story, but I'm going to tell you a little story about Whitney Carson, of course, your mentor on Dancing with the Stars Juniors. So I went to Whitney's launch of Capri by Whitney.
That's so cool.
I was asking her about the season. Of course, I was asking her about Milo. And then, of course, I was asking her about juniors. And she said, there is so much cuteness on my team. She's like, it was hard some days to focus because they were so darn cute.
Yes.
She loved working with you guys.
It was so much fun. Whitney was such a great influence. Every time we went on stage, she said, we can do it. We can do anything. Just go out there and have fun. And Akash was so sweet. He said that I can do anything. And I was like, it just made me feel so happy. I told him the same thing, and yeah, it was just
it was magic, honestly.
Yeah, it was.
I think Dina did a really good job of matching all of you guys together, the mentors with the right kid pro and then the right contestant, which is it's hard to do.
I can't believe I got Whitney. When Whitney walked in the room, I was like playing with my hair, and then all of a sudden I hear the door open, and I looked and it was just a producer. So I looked back in the mirror and I started playing with my hair. And then all of a sudden, I hear the door open again. And so I was like, oh, it's probably a producer again. And then she goes, hey! And I turned around and I started screaming. I was so excited.
And you get a lot of baby Whitney references, don't you?
Yes.
You guys look a lot alike.
Yeah.
Well, it was great, though. And I'm sure you've worked with Whitney before, have you?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
A little bit here and there, taking a class or anything. I mean, it's the Utah thing. What is up with you guys in Utah? You are the best dancers.
Thank you so much.
And you're at Center Stage. Is that where you train?
Yes, I am at Center Stage.
All right. Now tell us what an average day is like when you are home. How many classes are you taking? What are you training in?
I train in all styles: jazz, hip hop, ballroom, ballet, everything. And so what happens is I wake up. Sometimes I have a ballroom lesson at 7:45 in the morning.
Whoa!
I go to ballroom for 45 minutes or an hour and a half. Then I go to school. I get checked out. And then I go to dance, and I have dance then till like 10 to 9:30.
So yeah, you're working. You have long days.
Yeah, I don't even go home. I just straight to dance, and it's just like a normal day for me.
So you're doing sometimes dance before school.
Yes.
Then going to school. Are you doing a half day at school, or are you doing a full day at school?
Some days I do a full day, but sometimes I have to get checked out for dance. Yeah.
I used to do that too. It's not bad. As long as the homework is done, right?
Yeah.
Super important.
Unless my grades are good, and then it's all good.
My mom was like that too. My mom would say, you have to keep your grades up, otherwise you can't go to dance class.
Yeah, my mom and dad say that if I can't keep my grades up, I have to make sure, like, I have to go to school early and try to figure out, like, what I'm doing wrong and stuff. But I know that if I end up, like, getting, like, a really bad grade, then I can't, like, go to dance that day. But then if I bump it up, I can go to dance still.
Well, it's good, though. You understand that education is really important.
Yeah.
Even those days if you don't want to go to school, it's really important in the long run.
Because if you didn't have any education, then...
Well, you need it for everything. I mean, let's think about it. You need it for dance. You need to be able to balance a checkbook, or you need to know where your money's going.
Yeah.
It's important.
You can't just throw your money anywhere and say, here, you can have this.
Well, you can give it to me. I'm kidding. So, are you going to regular public school?
Yes, I do go to regular public school.
So interesting because I find with the Dancing with the Stars, all the kid
They
pros,
all get homeschooled.
a lot of homeschool, although JT told me, he said, it didn't work for me. He said, I didn't do well with homeschool, so he's going to a charter school that's a performing arts base. But you're going just a regular public school?
Yep.
How has that worked? Because you've been very busy over the last year.
So over like the last year, I've had a teacher, and she just like every time I need like a school book or something, she like says like do pages blah 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 to blah blah blah, and then I will grab those pages and I'll rip them out. I'll do them like on the plane ride or something. I'll do them here, or I'll do them the night I get home, and it just like works out that way because when I'm at school and I try to like figure out my work, I get so sidetracked, and then I get off on the work I'm supposed to be doing that day. So it's just easier when I just
go home and focus on it later on. I'm
yeah.
like that too. I need to be in a quiet room.
And my dad's like so helpful with it.
Oh, good.
And so like he is such a great help.
That's good. So
nice.
you're like, I don't understand this. He's like, wait, I'll show you.
Wait, I'll show you. And then sometimes we both don't understand it, so we watch a video and then we figure it out. And we think it's wrong, and then it ends up being right.
That's amazing because when I went to school, there was no internet, believe it or not. So you would have to go to a dictionary, or I'd have to ask my parents if they didn't know. I'd have to go back to school and wait the next day until the teacher could explain it again.
If I knew Akash, I would just ask Akash.
Akash is, I said to his dad, when I saw his dad here for the Dancing with the Stars finale, I said to him, you have to keep that kid's mind active all the time because he's constantly going. He's got 1,000 questions, and he knows the answers to them too.
Yeah, he's like, he asks us a question and then he like answers it for us. He's like, so what's your dance style like? Well, Whitney's dance style is like, we're like,
he's done all the research. When I met him, he had read tons of stuff about me, and I was like, okay.
You're like, okay.
I know. Such a smart kid. So
like if I say something wrong, I'm like, so like because or something like wrong that I like is not a real word. He's like, actually, it's pronounced blah blah blah. That meaning is. I'm like,
thanks. We were getting education on the set then.
Yeah.
Where's your on-school education teacher?
Yeah, I actually learned how to spell the longest word. He taught me how to spell it.
Do you remember how to say that word? Because I was watching that again, and I don't think I can repeat it.
Pneumona ultramicroscopic silicovolcanoconiosis.
Can you still spell it?
Yes, I think. PNEUMONOULTRAMICROFCANOCONIOSIS.
I'm pretty sure that's 100% correct. If not, I'm telling you it is because that's amazing.
Yeah, he taught me, and I like he spelled the word in our dance, and so I just heard it so much. I was like, you know what? I'm going to try spelling it.
I think I know this.
Yeah, because I've heard it so many times, so I'm going to try. And I did it. I got a couple letters wrong, and he's like, make sure you say this one, and this one right. And I did it. And I was like, oh my gosh. I did not expect learning how to spell long.
You will probably never forget that word, honestly. You'll be 50 years old, and you'll still be spelling it.
Yeah, my grandchildren, they're like, can you still spell the longest word in the world? I'm like,
I got this.
Yeah, I think.
You're like, hold my water. I got this.
My water.
So last year, how did the whole audition for Dancing with the Stars Juniors come about? You went to that initial audition that most of the kids went to.
Yes, I did. So we went, we were in Paris Worlds, actually, when we got called to come to the audition. And so we were like, okay, yeah, that will be cool. But it wasn't, like, exact. It was just like, okay, send me this and this and this, and then, like, we'll see. And so then we got home, and we got the email that we get to come to the audition. And so we were so excited. And actually, before the actual audition, I had a ballroom competition. And so that week before, I had a ballroom competition. So after that, I went to the audition, and I got number 1, and I was so nervous. That means I was the youngest one. I was like, okay, let me try to figure this out. I'm the youngest one.
And you were 9 when you auditioned, is that correct?
Yeah, and we didn't expect anything out of it. It was just like, oh yeah, this is going to be the best experience ever. It's my first audition. It's going to be great. We didn't
first
expect
audition
anything.
ever.
Yeah.
Ever.
We didn't expect anything. We just expected, oh my gosh, this is like an amazing opportunity. Let's take it for advantage. Like,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you were paired up with Daniel Novikov.
yes, I was paired up with him, and I was terrified. I've had competitions with him, and he like wins every single competition, and he just like works like I don't even know how
He's so
he goes that
proficient.
sharp. I'm like, how do you do that?
He's amazing.
How does your body work like that?
I don't know. And for anyone who doesn't know who Daniel is, first of all, he was in the troupe on
Yes.
Dancing with the Stars Juniors, but he was also last summer on World of Dance Season 2, Daniel and Michela. A lot of people call him Baby Derek Huff.
Yes.
He does look a lot like a
He
young
does.
Derek, which is
Yes.
amazing. And we did have them on the show, so you guys can always go back into the archives and take a look at their
Yeah.
interview. So you must have felt good with Daniel because you knew he knew exactly what he was doing when it comes to ballroom.
Yes. But I was also terrified because he was so good. And so I was like, he's going to make me look so bad because he's so good.
No, but his job is to make you look as good as he is.
Yeah, and so we got in there, and we were the very first one because we were 1 and 2. And so we got in there, and we were the very first ones. And so we learned the dance, and Emma and Sasha taught it to us.
Well,
And
that's fun.
from like a long time ago, I went to the Dancing with the Stars tour, and I met Emma. And I had like a little bag, and I wanted her to sign it first. Like I went over to her, and I was like, "Will you sign my bag?" And we signed it, and I still have the bag, and I still have the picture.
I love that. And then
Yeah.
you get to work with her all these years later.
And we didn't remember it. Like we remembered it, but it wasn't like on the tip of our tongue. It
Right.
was just like, oh yeah, that happened, but we didn't like
Think about it in the
understand
moment.
that it was like, oh my gosh, I did know you when I was like 7 years old.
When you were itty bitty.
Yeah. And so after they taught us to dance, and we went in the room because we were very first, and they interviewed us a tiny bit.
What did
And
they ask you?
They asked us our names, and then they asked us our dance style.
Yep.
Yeah. And so they asked us our names, and we both like looked at each other like really nervous. And so like I said my name, and then he said my name, and then we got more comfortable, and we like said our dance style, and then they said, okay, you can show us the dance now. And so we did the dance, and they said, okay, thank you. We walked out, and number 3 and 4 went on, and we sat there for a second. We like ran through it more just in case they like called people back, and they slowly started like saying people can go, and like then they ended up just sending everybody else home, and we went to dinner, and then we went home, and then like a long time after we had heard that it wasn't going to be happening.
There was a lot of that.
Yeah.
It's happening. It's not happening.
Yeah, and like we heard that like, oh yeah, like it's going to happen. No, it's not going to happen. They can't find the right partners. And it ended off, we don't have the right partners. And so we're like, oh yeah. This was a week before I got the email, you're on Dancing with the Stars. And so we waited a week, and then like I was in a jazz class at my dance studio, and my mom drove to my studio, Center Stage, and I was like in a jazz class just like having a normal day. And my mom like knocks on the door, and she like opens it. She's like, "Can I have Kamri for a second?" I was like,
You're like, is everything okay?
Like, am I in trouble? And so I walked out. I was like, what's wrong? What's happening? Because she like usually doesn't pull me out of jazz class. So I was like, what is happening? So she's like, read this. And like she said it seriously. So I was like, uh-oh. And so I read it, and at the top it says, congratulations, you're on Dancing with the Stars Juniors. And I screamed.
Screamed? You screamed, yeah.
I screamed so loud, and I was so excited. But my mom told me not to tell anybody. I walked back in, and everybody's like, what happened? I was like,
Everything's fine.
I'm fine. Like, nothing happened. And they're like, okay. So we went, and once I figured out, everybody's like, I knew that happened. I was like, how did you know?
Because your mom doesn't come to jazz class and pull you out too often.
Yeah.
And they probably heard your scream out in the hallway.
Yeah, they were like, we thought that you got like hurt or something. I was like, nothing happened.
But that's the best. Your mom, Hillary, is here. And so your mom is like, don't say anything after I told you the best news of your life.
Yeah, but once they like saw on Instagram that it all happened, they were like, why didn't you tell us? I was like, it was a secret. I couldn't tell.
How long did you have to keep the secret? Like, it was a few months, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, it felt like forever. I wanted to tell people so bad. I'd be like, no, I can't tell you. Like, I couldn't even, like, talk about it to the people who I knew were on it. And I didn't even know if other people at my studio were on it. Like, I didn't even know anything. I was just
That's
like,
crazy.
oh, wait, cool,
and you
yeah.
have a lot of friends that were on the
Yeah.
show, and you couldn't even say, like, hey, Riley, or hey,
Riley.
Brayton, or
Yeah.
hey, Michaela.
Yeah, I couldn't even be like, hey, like, are you on Dancing with the Stars or anything? Because, like, if I said that, then they'd get suspicious if they weren't on it. But, of course, they were.
I'm sure
But-
some of the moms talked.
Yeah, I bet
I'm like,
stop.
But, you know, it was funny because even on my end, I had to sign something with ABC because I knew who the cast was and watching the show.
Yeah.
And, you know, it was, people were asking me even on Twitter. People would slide into my DMs, like,
Yeah.
who won? What's happening?
And you're
And
like, I can't tell. Like, I'm sorry.
I got nothing.
Yeah.
Don't even ask me.
Yeah. But, like, people would be like, who got eliminated first round? I'm like, I don't know. I don't even know. And they're like, who's your partner? I'm like, no clue. Don't know.
Don't know his name.
Don't know his name. I'm sorry. You're lying to me, aren't you? I'm like,
I'm not lying. I am just doing what I was told.
Yeah.
Exactly. So what was that? I know you had a couple weeks rehearsal before you actually started the show. What was that like coming to Los Angeles? A lot of your friends are on the show. You're meeting your partner. By the way, you're on ABC. This is a big deal.
yeah. When I first went to the studio, I was like shocked. I like couldn't say anything. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm actually in the Dancing with the Stars studio.
Right.
And they, like, put us in a room, and, like, I was just, like, so nervous. I was like, do I look good? Am I good? Am I fine? And, like, literally, it was the best experience of my life. Like, I don't even know what I would do without it. If I didn't meet Akash, I would be so sad. He's, like, the sweetest kid ever. He, like, I don't know what even to say. Like, he is adorable. He's so cute. He's so smart. He's so kind. He's everything.
He's a big heart. I love that
Yes.
about him. I love something you wrote the week I believe you were both voted off the show.
Yeah.
You had talked about what you and your mom had kind of talked about going into the season about making your partner feel comfortable, having the best
Yeah.
experience. And you did wind up, not only were you guys the youngest couple on the show, but I think also you wound up with a partner. Yeah, there we are, the cha-cha.
Yeah.
He said, by the way, Akash said this was his favorite
It
number.
was his all-time favorite dance. He like at the beginning we were like practicing our foxtrot, and he was like, "Can we practice our cha-cha now?" And she's like, "1 second, we're about to do like our foxtrot on stage." And he was like, "But I really like our cha-cha."
He told me that he liked this dance because he thought it was a good dance for him, but
Yeah,
also that it was energetic.
It was so his style. He just like worked it on stage. Before he went
feeling
on
it.
stage, like usually he's like, "Ooh, I'm a little bit nervous," but this time he was like, "Oh, I got
this."
it." Yeah.
I love that about him. And I think the most interesting thing about your team, too, is you really had someone who was not an actor, someone who was not an athlete.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting for like a spelling bee champion, like the youngest one to ever go on like a spelling bee. I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting like a acting or like a Disney kid or like
An athlete or, yeah.
an athlete or something. I was not expecting a spelling like kid. But when he like walked in the room, I was like, "You are the cutest thing ever." He was so chatty and it was so cute. He walked in the room and he was like, "Tango, spelled Tango, is a ballroom dance of Latin American." And we're like, "Yep, you do know a little bit of that." We're like, "Do you know anything about dance?" And he was like, "Well, tango, spelled T-A-N-G." We're like,
Okay, but besides that, have you taken a
"Besides
dance
that,
class?
Have you taken like a dance class or anything?" And he's like, "I danced with my sister on our rug in our living room." And I'm like,
I love that. I think even Whitney asked, have you even held hands with anyone but your sister? Have you held hands with a girl? Because oftentimes when you're younger and you're not a dancer, holding hands with a boy or a girl is nerve-wracking.
yeah. She was like, "Have you held hands with a girl before?" And she's like, "Besides your sister." He was like,
No. You're going to do a lot of hand-holding, and it's okay.
Yeah. But he wasn't, like, terrified to hold my hand. He was just like, okay, it's not going to kill me.
But I think what was great, because he was so outgoing, what was funny, though, his dad said that he's actually very shy in person, but this experience for him was just so wonderful. I know, right?
I would have never thought that.
I didn't either.
We heard him in his, like, first interview. We didn't even know him yet. And he was so loud. It was just so adorable. We could hear him like, oh, yeah, I'm so excited to meet them. I was like,
I think there was just something about dance that
adorable.
sparked something in him. And I love that you and Whitney helped bring that out of him, because
Yes.
even in every dance that you guys did on the show, even if he wasn't technically perfect, he was selling it. So
Yeah,
his heart was right there.
He was out there just, like, having the most fun he could ever have. So if that happens, people will love him. Just, like, not like people wouldn't love him.
I know, he's
like,
so easy to love.
adorable.
But I think that's the thing, and I think sometimes the adults lose this on Dancing with the Stars because they get so worried about being technically perfect, they forget about putting their heart and putting
In the
emotion
dance.
into the dance. And so when he puts all of his heart out there, you
It's
think
just like,
it's great.
oh my gosh, I just love him already. He just walked up on stage. He's smiling. I love him already.
He was one of my biggest surprises, and times it surprised me when I was voting too, because I thought being in studio, and they did give the press, we were allowed to vote. I thought sometimes I would be voting for the people that I thought were the best every single week.
It's just like the people who look like they're having the most fun.
I wound up voting sometimes for you guys because I thought they've got more to show us. They've got more. Let's make sure that they're back for next week.
Just like Sky and GT, the winners. Sky, she went out there first week. She wasn't perfect. It just like she went out there and just smiled. Same with Akash. Like they were both.
And Akash and Sky had the best speeches on the show.
Yes.
So
when me and Whitney had no clue Akash was going to say something.
And he was always so thankful and grateful for everything. Sky was the same way. And some weeks I thought, I can't stop crying. I'm so happy listening to how much fun you guys are having.
Like when we cry after we get eliminated, it's not because we're sad or anything. It's just like, oh my gosh, I was on this show. This is such a great experience. Like, I don't know what I would do not knowing all these great friends that I met.
And I know we were talking about this before the show. I said, say it louder for the adults in the back, because when you guys might have been crying at the end of the show, it wasn't like, oh my gosh, we're not going to be on next week. It's
oh dang, we're not good. We're not like, it's just we get a little sad, but it's not like we're like, it's just like, oh, well, we got eliminated. But
I had this great experience.
It's like an incredible experience. Let's go. Let's go with all of my friends. Let's go eat. Let's just have a good time. I'll be back here tomorrow to watch you guys.
And I loved the story you told me about when Sophia Pippin was eliminated. You guys were good friends on the show.
Yes, we were really good friends.
Where'd you go afterwards to celebrate? Not the elimination, but just celebrate her time on the show.
We went to Maggiano's, and then right after, we asked her where she wanted to go, and we went to the American Girl doll store, and she looked like she was having so much fun, and that makes me feel good for, like, doing that for her and stuff.
She was a lovely dancer, too. I hope she got a lot out of that doing the show, because she was very elegant as a dancer.
At the very beginning, she was so quiet. She was so shy. But, like, the sooner we got together and met, she was, like, if you would have met her at the beginning again, you would have not recognized her. Because, like, she FaceTimes us every day, and she's like, oh, hey, how's your day going? And she's just like, it's like, who were you at the very first day? Like, right now you're so energetic.
And she's comfortable now, too, and I think that's the important thing. She knows that she can trust you as a friend, which is great. I love that. And the one thing, we were talking a little bit about this, but when you and Akash were eliminated from the show, you and your mom had talked about making sure that your contestant was comfortable, had the best experience.
Yes.
I think that's a great approach.
Yeah, because if they didn't have the most, like, an amazing experience, like, then it's just, like, sad for them. Like, because I bet you every single person you would talk to on the show, like, almost everybody would say that was the best thing ever. It was so much fun.
I think so. And it was great to see on weeks after people would get eliminated, if they were still in town, they would come and watch the show and to support everybody else.
There was every single person who got eliminated came and watched at least 2 shows.
I think that's good. That shows a lot about not only the adults on the show, but all of you guys as kids supporting each other as a cast.
Yeah, like Cameron Couch, she went to every single show.
That's amazing. I wound up in one of her Instagram stories because she was Instagramming at the show, and I'm like, I'm in the back right there. And I was like, oh, there I am. Let's talk about Jordan Fisher, because I feel like he's everybody's big brother. He was the perfect choice to host.
He's literally like all of the junior pros and celebrities' uncle, like literally our uncle.
That's amazing, because I feel like everyone's at Disneyland with him every other week. Did you go to Disney? Did you go to Disneyland with him at least once? Yeah, exactly. I just love that, and I'm excited to see him this weekend on Rent Live.
I'm so excited. I'm gonna watch on my TV, and I'm gonna be cheering for him.
I'm gonna be cheering for him in the audience at dress rehearsal. I'm really excited about that. And Vanessa Hudgens, whom I cover for So You Think You Can Dance, I think it's going to be a great production.
Yes.
Very good. How about working with Mandy Moore?
That was so awesome. I cannot believe that I met
2-time Emmy Award winning
Mandy Moore. Like, she was showing me what to do. Like, she was so incredible. I can't even believe it. She's so sweet. If we don't get something, she'll come over, she'll work on it with us. And even if we don't get it after that, she'll work on it even more. She'll oh, I know what you're doing wrong right here, and she'll literally come to every single person and ask.
She's so good.
Sweet. Even if she's so busy, she'll come.
She is really busy, because I would see her at So You Think You Can Dance on Mondays, and then Friday and Saturdays at Juniors.
Even on Monday nights, she's it's Monday morning Juniors, Monday midday, trying to figure out what she's doing for the older season. Monday night, she's doing So You Think You Can Dance every single day of the week.
And the good news is that they're on the same studio lot. They're right next door to each other. She can just run back and forth.
That's so nice for her.
It really is, because she's one of the busiest women in Hollywood, I think.
Yes. Or in the United States.
In the United States, probably. Okay, so we don't know anything about season 2. Fingers crossed it happens. You're in, right? You're ready for season 2 if it happens.
I really hope.
All right, well, we're ready for you. The good news is you're on the younger end, so I think that's probably good news, because
I'm the youngest one.
It's tougher when you're the 15-year-old, I think. You know, what you were saying, she's got casting all worked out. Where are you going to put Sage if they think he's too old for juniors?
In the adult troupe.
On Dancing with the Stars, season 28. She's just moving him right up.
Yep, just right up. And then they'll become they'll come Dancing with the Stars Pro.
Perfect. I love that we have this all worked out. It's amazing, because I think Daniel Novikov would be someone who would be ready to be a kid pro too on season 2.
Yeah.
So we know he's amazing. Every time I turn around on Instagram, he's got a new trophy added on his shelf.
Oh yes, definitely. He comes with I bet you his room is filled with just medals all over his room.
Everywhere. He's at Blackpool. He was in Russia.
Yeah.
He literally competes all across the globe.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
If you spin the globe, you point it to a place, he'd be like, oh yeah, I've already been there, and I won a world ballroom title.
No big deal. It's all good.
No big deal. I've just won it 7 times.
You're doing pretty well in ballroom yourself.
Yes, I love ballroom. It's my world.
Is it your favorite style?
I have many favorite styles, but I love ballroom. If I would have had I could pick 3 main favorites. It would be probably hip hop, ballroom, of course, and contemporary jazzish.
Oh, I love that. That's such an eclectic mix.
Yeah.
What's your favorite style within ballroom?
Within ballroom,
That's hard.
that's such a hard one.
I know. Which one are you best at, do you think? The one that you go in, you go, I got this.
I feel if I just had jive, I would be best at jive. But it's
good.
the last one. So I'm tired and trying to keep my knees up. So I think my rumba's my best.
Ooh.
Yeah, my rumba.
I like that. And have you been with the same partner over the last couple of years?
Yes, I haven't had a different partner yet.
Okay.
I've always
Tell
had.
us about your partner.
His name is Marcelo Fitzgerald. He used to only do ballroom, but now he's working at the Pointe. And he does all styles. He's in like a local like team. He doesn't do it like every single day, but he still does it a lot.
Good.
He is so good at ballroom. I'm so blessed to have him. I'm so happy.
And you guys had the opportunity to go to Paris last year.
Yes, it was the best experience almost ever. Like, it was so fun. I would not expect going to Paris just like on a normal day.
Just go to Paris.
You know what? Let's just go to Paris.
And let's compete against the best in the world in the under 12 category, right?
Yeah, for nationals you have to get a certain place to go to Paris to represent. And so I was an under 10 national vice champion, and then I was a 2-time under 12 finalist, and so I won second place in the under 10, and so that gave me a scholarship to go to Paris. So
Wow.
my ballroom teacher Cheyenne Murillo and Sasha, I can't say his last name. It's so hard.
I know Cheyenne, though. She and I follow
Cheyenne
each other.
Murillo.
She's incredible. She wins all the time.
Everything.
She just had a big competition.
She was just, and she won. I was so happy for her.
I think you've got a good teacher then.
She's so good.
So what did you learn in your first international competition? Because you're with, kids your age, but you're with the best in the world.
When I was out there was like 5 heats, which is like different groups of people who went in your same category. There was like 84 people competing against me, and I got 21st
Good for
in the
you.
world. Yeah. I was so happy. It's usually they put like a board in the back, and it says like the boys have a number in their back on their back. So like usually it says your number, and then like you get ready to get on stage, but you just have to stand there and they'll say your number and you'll walk out. It's just like
You have to be ready to go.
so nerve wracking.
How do you keep your nerves calm? Because that's not easy.
Oh, my nerves calm. Oh, I breathe.
Breathing is good. Like a deep breath, right?
And then I'm good. I just walk on stage.
It's a good way to do
Or
it.
I move my knees back and forth. I do that all the time.
Is that out of nerves, or does that keep you
it keeps me like, it's like my nerves, like when I'm nervous, I go just back and forth.
With the
and my
knees.
mom, every time like I'm like in an audition, I'm just like back and forth, and she's just laughing. Cause
like, "You're a little
she's, like,
nervous
back
today."
And forth, back and forth, back and forth. And she's like, "Were you nervous?" I was like, "No." And then she's like, "I could tell you were nervous.
She's
You were
like, I
shaking
saw your
legs."
knees.
Yeah.
I love that. Are you going to do more competitions in 2019?
Yes, I am. I had two competitions. I've had 2 jazz competitions for 2019.
I think we had your solo. Your 24/7 solo is up there.
Yeah, it's a ballroom solo.
I loved it. I was watching that too this morning.
It was so much fun. Erica Marr choreographed it for me, and it was like I love it so much. You can like even like tell because I go out there and I have the most fun. It's like really exciting too because like I'm like, okay, do the slow movement and then sharp.
There's a lot of different elements to it, and I think when you really love a piece, it shows on stage.
Yeah.
You got first place, did you not?
Yeah.
Yes, congratulations.
Thank you. My mom and my dad actually stoned that whole costume. Ryan stoned it all.
They must have been up very late nights stoning that costume for you.
My dad actually, he put the costume in a pillow because he needs like a body shape so it's easier. And he was doing the mesh where there's holes. Mm-hmm. So he's stoning it, and it's like super glued to stick it on. And it stuck to the pillow.
So you almost had to wear a pillow to compete.
Yeah, I would have like stuck my body in. But luckily we got it off. But my mom was like, Chloe, we worked so hard on this. You can't do this.
We can't have a pillow stuck to your
can't have a
costume.
pillow.
I love that your dad's involved in helping with the costumes.
Yes, he's such a great help. He is so like he's so fine with me doing dance. He's so
Supportive.
Yeah, that's the word.
Like, that's what I meant to say.
Yeah. He's like so much help.
But that's really important
I love him
too.
so much.
That's good though.
Yes.
It's great to have the family support because you're gonna have good days, you're gonna have bad days, you're gonna have days when you just need a hug.
Yeah, but I feel like I can tell my parents anything. They
Good.
are so good with me. I love my siblings too. They are so sweet.
They're younger, right?
Yeah, they're all younger. I actually have triplet siblings.
What?
2 girls and a boy.
Are they dancers?
Yeah. They used to be, and then they didn't like it anymore.
That's okay.
And
Everyone
then they
has
got
their thing.
sad because I wanted a dancing sister.
Oh, I know. I bet you
but
share
they do
something.
gymnastics.
Ooh, I love gymnastics.
And then one of my brothers do like football, lacrosse, all of that. And then my other brother isn't old enough to do all of that stuff. So he likes to go to my grandma's house and he draws and he colors.
He's artistic.
He's like so good at drawing. Like if you saw one of his drawing, you would think it's by like a 10-year-old.
That's
I'm
good.
like, I look at it, I'm like, oh, you did such a great job, Nixon. And he's like, I didn't do that. That was Nolan. I was like, oh.
I do like little stick figures. That's all I've got.
I know, I can draw like stick figures, but he like draws the neck and everything, and he's only 5.
He's
6.
Yeah, that's great.
5.
You're like, how old is my brother?
6.
He's 6.
So sorry.
You're like, are you 10? Yeah, you're 10, right?
Yeah, I'm
Just
10.
making sure. You'll be
Yeah.
11 this year, right?
Yes.
Yes, it's all happening. Let's talk about Carnegie Hall because I love this. A couple weeks ago, we had Trey Durego from the lab, and he performed in Times Square on New Year's Eve. So, and he's 16, and I think that's a great bucket list. So many dancers, singers, musicians want to do Carnegie Hall. They wait their entire lives. Maybe they do it at 40. Maybe they never do it. You did it at 10.
Yeah, so I danced. There was a really small space for me to dance in. It was like about this table
This table here?
size-ish. Yeah.
Okay.
And so I had like a dance that I just like kind of combined my solos with, and I had to dance it in like this small space. And so I got there, and they were so kind. I was dancing for a little girl who died on, I forgot what day, but she died when she was
Recently.
like 3 years old, but it was a remembrance about her.
Mm-hmm.
So her 2 sisters were singing about her, and her brother was going to speak about her, say a speech and stuff. And so it was just like they couldn't have a 3-year-old be dancing on stage, so they had like someone like that's younger but not like 7. So they had me.
Right.
They wanted a 10-year-old, so they asked us, and we said yes. And we got there, and it was my first time going to New York. And so
At Christmas time, which is the
Yes,
best time,
and
honestly.
it was actually not as cold as Utah. We like were expecting like freezing cold, and so we like brought everything, and we like got there, and we're like, this is less cold than Utah. We're like used to this. And Haley, my dance coach that we stayed at, is like freezing there. Yeah, and so we learned so much in New York from my dance teacher Haley. She taught me and my mom had to use the subways, and we ended up doing one by ourselves.
And did you go in the right direction?
Yes, we did.
Good job. The first time I went on the subway by myself, I went downtown and I needed to go uptown. I went all the way to Brooklyn and I needed to go to Lincoln Center. It didn't work out very well the first time.
Yeah,
I was a little lost. But it was Val. Val helped you get this job?
Yes, Val helped us get this job. He told my mom, and my mom's like, okay, and he was like, let me have your phone number. So they texted, and then like she didn't hear for a while, and then she heard from the director, and he was like, okay, yeah, we want Kamri, and so we went, and it was so much fun there. I loved the style of New York. It's so heartwarming. I love the style. Like, if they said, okay, what is the place that you would want to go the most? I would say New York.
Did you see the Christmas tree?
Yes, I saw the Christmas tree.
So beautiful.
We were walking to the Christmas tree, and she goes, look, there's the Christmas tree. And I looked, and it was like a tree that was like there was no leaves on it, and there was just like not even like Christmas lights on it. It was like so
You're like,
pretty.
okay.
And my mom was like, no, not right there, and it was like huge. It was like, whoa.
The larger than life Christmas tree. My friend
Yes.
works for Rockefeller Center, and she's in charge of getting that tree every year and putting it up. I know. So her Instagram account is amazing. Every year I go, oh, it's Christmas time. But she follows it from, if they pick it up in Pennsylvania or they pick it up in New Jersey, wherever they get it, she's with it this whole journey until it's all decorated.
That is like crazy.
It's a cool job, actually.
Yeah, like she just like gets to decorate the whole tree and stuff.
Yeah, she gets to plan the style and what they're doing with it and where they find it. And it's the most magnificent part of Christmas in New York, honestly. And the skating rink is right there, too. And it's beautiful.
Yeah. We went skating for my first time.
On the rink there? Mm-hmm. How did you do?
And we went skating, and I slipped a lot. But I ended up...
Wait. Was this before or after you performed at Carnegie Hall?
Before.
Oh, your mom must be like, wait, let me hold on to you.
Yeah, I was holding on to both of them, and I was like going. I was like, I think I can do it. And so like I started going, and I was like, oh, I got the hang of it. And so I started going fast. I slipped, and they caught me. I was like, wow, I was not going that fast. And so like they helped me up, and so I just kept on holding on to their hands. And then like I would go and I would go really slow, and they're like, no, let me just hold your hand. You're gonna be way behind us. So we did that for like an hour and 30 minutes-ish.
Oh, that's fun. Yeah.
It was really fun.
It's
And
really special.
So then that night we went and I got to hear the song that I was dancing to.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next day we went and I saw my everything. It was so crazy. We walked in and like they had a present for me and it was so sweet. They had like candy in it.
Oh,
and
that's good.
I was like, Mom, can I have candy? And she's like, after you dress rehearsal.
Yes, not before.
You're gonna get sick.
We're gonna let you dance first. Yeah.
Yeah. And so we did that, and so we went to dress rehearsal, and I saw my space, and I was kind of stressed because it was such a small, itty bitty space.
And then you have to learn to adapt, though. That's the thing about being a performer. You think it's not the most ideal stage.
Yeah, it's not the most huge stage. I can't really do much in this table.
Right, you're not going to be leaping all over the place.
I can figure what I should do out. Like, it's not just whatever, I'll just like try to do something. I'm gonna kick someone in the face, who cares? I was like, wait, no, I can't do that because I'm gonna kick the string queens in the face and then they're gonna mess up. So I was like, okay, so I won't go that way, I'll go this way. And me and my mom just like tweaked it up a little bit. Mm-hmm. And then I got to eat a piece of candy.
For a good dress rehearsal.
Yeah.
What was it like performing at Carnegie Hall? Because this is it's a infamous stage. People love this.
Yeah. Like when I was the most nervous I've ever been. Like literally I was so nervous. I was like about to go on stage, on like the floor, and I was shaking my legs like crazy. My mom was like, were you nervous? Or was it like, and I was like, I was terrified. Like there's like 4 balconies.
Yeah, it's
just
huge.
Like filled with people. I'm like, what am I doing?
But you can do this.
People.
But you were live on Dancing with the Stars. You can do this.
But I feel like on Dancing with the Stars, you can't see everyone live.
And you could see everyone.
Once it's like live, once I got out there, I was like, oh, this is fine, because I couldn't see anybody because it was like a bright light right in my face. So I was like, okay, phew, at least I can't like see everybody. And the singer was beautiful. She sang, and then we came and we like sat and we watched the other girl, and she did opera, and it was so loud. I was like, how does she go that loud? Like, it was beautiful. Like,
that's amazing.
When she like her opera, like it went like so like up high, and then it was like low, medium,
she had a big range.
She had like a lot of like vocal cords. Is that what it's
vocal
called?
Quality, I think.
Quality.
Yeah, I mean, because that is really good.
Yeah.
So you had such a busy summer and fall. What was it like getting back into the routine of like going back to school, getting back into the studio and really working?
It's just like when I got home, it was like a didn't happen. It was like, okay, I'm back to normal. It was just like a normal life, and they're like, oh, what happened? I was like, oh wait, no, I still can't say. Like, it hasn't aired yet. They're like, who's your partner? What's your first dance called? I was like, I don't know what I can say and what I can't say now.
It's confusing.
It's like you could probably say what your first song was, but I was like,
is it out yet?
Is it out yet? Should I say or no? Like,
it is confusing because even I think when I interviewed Akash, only 4 weeks had aired. So I said, don't talk about anything beyond this 4 weeks because even though we know what happens, we can't talk about it.
Yeah.
So that's got to be hard for all of you guys. Now, I know we had Vlad in the studio here last week, and he said, oh, I'm working with Kamri and JT over the weekend. Can you talk a little bit about what you guys did?
So we did a video, and so it was just like a little dance that he made up. The theme was, I was a cool kid at school, and he was a nerd. And so he had like the glasses, and he was like,
JT had the glasses. Yeah.
And I started off at my phone. I was just like playing with my hair, and he came in. And he's like, and after that, we jived, and then we ended, and it was so great. Vlad was so good with us. I'm so grateful that I did this with him.
I love that. So is it going to be on YouTube soon? Where are we going to see it? Do we know?
It will be on Instagram. It will probably be on my Instagram.
Okay, good.
And
so we can all look for it then.
Yeah.
What I love JT, and I love that he has worked really hard to get his ballroom to where it is right now. He's really done a good job in the studio. What do you love about working with JT?
What I love working with JT is that his performance is really good. So it's not like I'm like dancing with like a brick wall. It's not like
he's got good facials. I always tell him
he's actually like performing. Like same with my ballroom partner Marcel. He like performs while he's dancing, so it's like fun to dance with him. It's not like, oh well, he doesn't really want to do this. He's just like blank face. Like, okay, I'm doing the correct steps, but it doesn't look like I'm having fun.
Yeah, that's never any fun.
It looks like he's having so much fun.
You and JT are good partners together. I think you're well matched too.
Yes, we're like perfect height. He's like a tiny bit taller than me, and I'm like a tiny bit shorter than him, and like that's a perfect height for ballroom.
Now I saw you with Paul too. Paul Carmerian. Was it this weekend too?
Yes.
You're hitting like everybody.
Yeah. It was so much fun. He was so nice.
Had you not met him before?
I had never met him. I was so excited to meet him.
Yeah, because he worked on a project with Vlad this week too, or last week I should say.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I know everyone's all tied in together. It's like, so you think you can dance and Dancing with the Stars
yeah,
Juniors.
It's like this dance world is so small, but it feels huge.
I bet it feels really big.
Yeah, but it's like such a small world. Dance world. You could like go to like a convention, and you could probably like name half of the people there.
Yeah, I'm sure you have so many friends that live all over the country and everything else like that.
Yeah.
That's incredible. So asking you this at 10 always seems so funny, but what are some of your next dance goals for 2019? Besides season 2 of Dancing with Stars Juniors, fingers crossed. Please.
Yeah, so some of my goals are to go to like I'm going to a dance convention. I want to make sure that I am being kind to everyone, and I'm like working with all of like the little kids, not just the bigger kids who are like really good. I want to meet more of the little kids who like are just like cute and like are supposed to be in the younger one, but they just want to be there because they love doing it.
That's good. To be a good role model, I think, is important and help everyone out. Do a lot of people recognize you now from juniors?
Yes. It's not something that happens to me much because I'm like, I was kind of like, when I first like got to a competition, they're like,
the whispers.
I was like, what was going on? Oh yeah, I'm on Dancing with Stars. I am not used to this. When like Breton and JT are used to it because they were many best dancers, and so like.
And he did So You Think You Can Dance? So.
And so I'm just not used to it. I'm not used to like.
The whispers. You were like, are they
And
talking
then
about me?
I'm like,
Wait,
nope, I'm the
person
only-
behiin me?
Is there?
Who's
No,
there?
nobody behind me. Yeah.
That does take some adjustment. It was interesting too. I went and did a speaking engagement over the Thanksgiving holiday, and I was asking everyone, what shows they're watching, and I thought for sure everyone was going to say, "So you think you can dance?" And probably maybe Dancing with the Stars. They said Juniors,
Ooh.
and the kids' age range was, I'm going to say, about 6 to 18. So it was a big range of kids, and
Okay.
World of Dance. So those
of
were the
Dance.
two shows that people were really watching, and probably because they're newer too,
Yeah.
they feel fresh. So I got a lot of questions. They were asking about you and Akash. They were asking about JT and Sky. So it was really fun just talking
Yeah.
about, at that point, I could only talk about what had aired.
Yeah.
But it
You're
was
like,
interesting.
And then, no,
And I can't talk about it anymore.
I'm sorry.
But it was interesting. I found that with the juniors, they loved the younger kids. The older kids, I felt maybe were too old for that age or that group of dancers. They were asking about and Artyom and Ariana. That's where they were kind of focusing in on. So I thought that was
Yeah.
kind of interesting.
That's really
I know, it's
interesting.
kind of fun.
Yeah.
It's kind of, I know, people want to know who you are. I'm telling you. Well, I want to say thank you so much for coming on the show today. You are a delight.
I can't believe I'm even on this show. Thank you so much.
I'm so glad you are here. I know
Thank
it.
you.
And when I had my eyes on you the second Whitney was like, "They are the cutest. Wait till you see them." It's a whole rehearsal and
I'm
then dance.
literally like a mini Whitney.
I love that. By the way, did Whitney teach you her famous hair whip to the camera? Oh. No, she did not. Okay,
She
well,
didn't teach me it.
I
No.
love this. Okay, she does the best hair whip straight to the camera. She always finds her camera. Yes. So if she happens to be your mentor on season 2, if season 2 happens, you say, "I want to learn the Whitney hair whip."
The Whitney hair whip.
It's so good. No one does it better than Whitney.
Yes.
And you've got great hair, so you're going to have the perfect hair for the Whitney hair whip.
Yeah.
And we'll call it the Kamri hair whip, though.
The Kamri hair whip.
All right. Well, you come back anytime. Seat is always
Okay.
open for you. Is that a deal?
Yes.
Okay, that's so good. If people want to follow you on social media, where should they find you? You can tell them right there to that camera.
You should find me on Instagram or...
What's your Instagram handle?
Oh, it's Kamri_dancer. That's my Instagram. And my Twitter is Kamri_Peterson.
I think
No,
there's no, it's just
Kamri
Kamri Peterson. There's no underscore in that one.
Sorry.
You can tell she does a lot with Twitter. But for sure, she's on Instagram because
Yes.
she slides into my DMs every once in a while.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much. And I'm sure we'll be hearing more from you soon.
Yes.
I'm ready for it. We want to thank Dance Network, of course, for presenting the show, Popcorn Talk for hosting us here today. I want to give you guys a little bit of a programming note. Next weekend, for next week only, we are going to be on Wednesday. That is Wednesday, January 20th, 3 p.m. Pacific time, 6 p.m. Eastern time. So the same exact time, just one day later, because I have a very special guest. You guys have been waiting a long time for this guest. Any guesses? Because I'll announce it later on next week. Throw me some guesses on Twitter. All right. Have a great week. Thanks for watching To The Point. We'll see you next week. Bye.
From producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire Popcorn Talk Network, we would like to thank you for tuning in. For questions or comments, be sure to visit popcorntalk.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of the Popcorn Talk Network.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Popcorn Talk Network or its owners or principals.